That's Eddie. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, it's Eddie.
All right, you can go ahead. We have
Yes, it's Eddie.
Professor. All right, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. You wanted to check something on the farm mechanization. Hello? Hello, that was Eddie. Disappeared. You wanted to ask some questions to me while I'm waiting for Professor Chinomona, Richard Chinomona, who is now just joined us. Hello, how are you? Hey, not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, your voice is very far, it's very faint.
Okay, maybe I need to put the headphones because I'm using directly the laptop.
All right, yeah, just put your headphones, yeah.
Yeah, let me see if that can improve the sound.
Okay.
Right.
Hello?
Hello, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, now I can hear you well.
Oh, great, great.
Yeah,
Yes.
so congratulations on the work that you're doing.
No, thank you, my brother. It's our work. I believe that what we do is not for ourselves, it's for the African people. So I'm happy that we are doing it together.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, sometimes when you do something and others don't know, then it means you are not doing anything. There are people who live life, and when they die, then everybody talks about what they were doing in life, but nobody knew.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so that's why I thought it would be useful just to have a short conversation with you,
No, thanks,
just
my
to
brother.
just to talk about yourself and what inspires you.
Okay. No, thanks, my brother. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Yes, as I indicated in earlier on, my name is Richard Chinomona. I'm a Zimbabwean by birth. I come from a very remote area in Zimbabwe, Muzarabani in particular. And that's where I grew up, went to school at St. Albert's High School, found myself at the University of Zimbabwe, where I did a number of qualifications there. I think I did first degree was politics and administration. Then I did a honors degree in economics. From there, I did a master's in economics at the University of Zimbabwe, a diploma in project planning at the University of Zimbabwe. I did my master's in business administration at Zimbabwe Open University. I then came to South Africa where I did my master's in public administration, went abroad where I did my PhD in business management, came back to South Africa. I taught at the University of Fort Hare. I taught at Tivau University of Technology. I have been teaching at the University of Witwatersrand, Wits University, until recently I decided that, the ideas I have are greater than what I'm doing at the university. I found myself limited to do what I aspired to do. In fact, there was a conflict of interest because I wanted to launch what I believed in to be a university of universities. But we can talk about that at some time.
All
So,
right.
whilst I was trying to implement this university of universities called the Global University of Excellence, I then realized it is a real-time virtual university, and then that's where I realized that we needed something that can help us to run that whole system. But what really inspired me, that is a very good question you asked. You know, in my research, I realized that UNESCO at one time published in 2016 that 1 in every 5 children are failing to have a quality education. And there was also a study that went further to say by 2030, there will be more youth seeking university education than the capacity of African governments to build brick and mortar universities. And also, the same statistics indicated that the rate at which the youth population is growing in Africa, they were anticipating that by 2050, there will be more than 850 million youths who might be seeking university education, right? And at the same time, statistics has been indicating that the rate at which people have been adopting technology has been increasing, and they are actually expecting that by 2030, we might be having more than 1.5 billion people in Africa alone using mobile phones, mobile gadgets. So that on its own inspired me to say, how can we provide a sustainable solution to the African youths who might be seeking higher education in few years to come from now? Given our limited resources and given that our governments cannot be able to build the number of universities we want, I then thought of taking up this virtual university as a solution, a sustainable solution, if I may say, that we can provide to the African youths of tomorrow.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, I was really touched by the fact that most of our talented youths who come from disadvantaged backgrounds fail to make it, not because they are not intelligent enough, but because they fail to get access to quality education. So you can see that if you want to be a well-known and respected academicians, you have to go to Harvard. If you are talking of Africa, you have to come to Wits University and University of Cape Town and the like and the like. But the issue is, can't we make this knowledge that is obtainable at this top-rated university accessed by any student from whatever disadvantaged background he comes or she comes from? So that was an issue that motivated me, and I said, okay, but if we can provide a virtual university where we can harness the finest brains in the world, whether at Harvard, Cambridge, Wits, name it, across the globe, and teach on this virtual platform to all the students, whether in Africa, Asia, or wherever, then we will have broken the boundaries limiting us in terms of quality education. I asked myself that as a professor at Wits then, I would be teaching marketing or research, which is my area of specialization. I give the students a prescribed textbook. Let's say for marketing, I would say, okay, we are going to use ACA or Keller's textbook as a prescribed textbook. So the question is, as a professor, I would read the textbook, then explain to the students what marketing is all about. Then I asked myself, isn't it better for me to have a virtual university where I would ask Keller to come and teach the students about his book than somebody to read his book and explain to the students?
Yeah.
So that in its own was an opportunity to break boundaries to quality education. And that is what motivated me and inspired me to say, I need to do something that would touch lives and transform the lives, particularly of those who come from a disadvantaged background. In addition to that, I tried to outsource technology that I would use for the virtual classroom. And for a year, I've been doing it, but then I found it not to be sustainable. Then I said, but if these people can do this technology from India and USA, and we buy it to use it on our platform, why can't we develop something of the similar nature here in Africa? Is it that we don't have the talent? So I believed that Africa has the talent. So I put together a team of developers. We are a team of, there is a team of 3 Zimbabwean developers, programmers. I brought them together and said, guys, this is the platform I want to build for the university. Do you think you can do it? They said, yes, we can do it. I harnessed the resources that I had put together and said, guys, here are the resources, start doing it. Indeed, it took us some challenges, some time, but indeed we have made it. Actually, our aspiration now is to provide an alternative to all that the Africans try to access from outside Africa. Now you see with this COVID-19, it has brought unprecedented challenge. We didn't know when we started our virtual platform. We started it in 2015. Then we didn't know that we were going to have this COVID-19 challenge. But now the challenge is there and COVID has come, perhaps maybe to stay with us for a considerable period of time. So the question has been, what should we do as Africans? Should we really rely on Zoom? Should we really rely on Microsoft Teams? Should we really rely on Google Talk, etc., etc.? And then we said, guys, we can do it. And we started working on this platform. In a short period of time, we managed to do it. And now we had to come up with about 7 phases of innovation and development. And I can assure you, my brother, that by the time we finish the 7th phase of our innovation and development, not even Microsoft Teams will be closer to where we will be.
That's encouraging.
Yes. And I can assure you that come perhaps next month, you won't be using this platform because we are in the process of integrating the live broadcasting function that from our Glue platform, you can broadcast it to WhatsApp, to Facebook, to YouTube. We are also in the process of developing our WhatsApp version of the Glue that will be actually on this platform, and many other things that we are trying to integrate. So many technologies like hologram technology. You will be shocked what we want to do, and this is what we want to do for Africans by Africans. In short, that is what I can say.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this a virtual community that you want to create, where knowledge can be shared. Do you think that there's a shared understanding about how best knowledge can be transmitted to those who have it and those who need it?
That's a very good question, my brother. You see, I'm one of those who believe that knowledge is of no value at all, unless and until it is shared and it begins to have positive impact in other people's lives. So I might be educated, I might be a respected professor, but if I don't share the knowledge I've acquired all these years, and that knowledge begins to have positive impact in other people's lives, that knowledge is useless, it's valueless. So as we share our knowledge with the many people who desperately need it out there, we are actually creating value for our knowledge. So it would be naive for anyone to think that when you get learned, you keep it to yourself and beat your chest that, no, I'm educated, I have so many degrees, I'm a professor. So what? So the question is, we can solve African problems the moment everyone find it duty bound to be able to share all the knowledge that you have acquired over time. Imagine in my own right, I have come across a lot of things that I've learned in life. And yourself, as my respected business brother and a businessman, you've learned a lot. And if we all share the knowledge we have come and learned along our journey in life, what kind of a knowledgeable society can we create? So you find that those who come in after us, they will have no need of reinventing the wheel when it's already invented. They will just build on to what we have done. So I believe that let's all do everything possible to the best of our ability to acquire knowledge, set up the foundation that those who come after us will have somewhere to build up from. That way we can make Africa proud and great.
So let's look at humanity and its divisibility. Do you believe that humanity can be divisible into African and other, or humanity is generic?
I believe that humanity is generic. We are all human by virtue of how the Creator created us. That's I happen to be a religious person who believe that we were all created in the same image. The fact that we have different skin color does not take away our universality in terms of humanity. So I strongly believe in that. However, that said, there is a fact that we cannot run away from, that Africa seems to be lagging behind in terms of development. And as such, there is a need for us to have a sense of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, that self-consciousness that because we belong to one continent, because we have unique resources to share as people of Africa, somehow that consciousness in us should help us to say, let's come together. Let's build this Africa together. Let's create synergies out of our unique efforts and talents we have in Africa. And that together, Africa can actually be a beacon of hope and great achievement in the near future. That's what I believe.
So on the screen, we have Glue that's
yes.
easy to use virtual platform.
Yes, my brother.
So if we look at the reason of life and why we are placed in families, in clans, in tribes, in groups. Do you feel that there is enough consciousness around community building?
It's really an interesting question you have asked, my brother. If you can allow me to go back home without delving into politics, you would really see that one of the impediments that Africa is facing, that is keeping us down and making it difficult to progress as we should, is these unnecessary divisions that seem to characterize us in terms of tribes, clans, political affiliation, gender, age. That I feel it's really unnecessary. Still, when we take our geographical divisions, that this is Zimbabwe, this is South Africa, it's really unnecessary. Because imagine if Africa was one country, imagine how many resources we could have put together and build up a bigger market. America is what it is today because it's a bigger country. It has more than 350 million people. And if let's talk about SADC alone, without even talking of Africa. Imagine if the whole of SADC put together, it is a population of almost 300 million people. If we were all to come together and say, this is one market, and when you produce in South Africa or in Zimbabwe, you are just producing for anyone in the 350 million people, do you think business would be limited? But we have created boundaries that in Zimbabwe we say, we are 15 million, in South Africa we are 50. Is that really necessary? I have always argued in my previous writing that really the size of a country matters, because that is indicative of the potential market that is available to do business. So we don't have to have divisions, whether they are based on tribes, based on nationality, based on political affiliation. It's not necessary. You can understand me well when I talk about Zimbabwe, that we've become too polarized, that I want to view you with a political lens, that which party do you belong to? Even if you have progressive ideas, because you have said I belong to this party, which I might dislike, then I tend to dislike even the progressive idea you have. Is that really necessary? So only when we break these unnecessary boundaries that seem to divide us, polarize us as Zimbabweans, as Africans, then we can be talking of meaningful development. And the GLUE is one platform that knows no boundaries. It knows no clans, it knows no gender, it knows no nationality. It's all about trying to promote communication and collaboration across the Africans and beyond.
All right. So if we look at now this virtual the virtual university,
yes,
and see how best is it that we can find a common agenda, a common calling. Do you find that in terms of content, right now we are connected, but disconnected in terms of order and structure?
You can say that again. We still have a long way to go, but it's still doable. You know why I say so? And what you actually inspired to come up with this Global University of Excellence. Allow me to go a bit back and explain.
Okay.
You know, my idea, the vision I had, was to come up with a university of university where we can have a curriculum that is top quality, that we all agree as universities to say, for one to have a qualification in business management, you should have, or she should have known this. And then it becomes a standardized curriculum. Then us as a virtual platform, we would get the finest brains wherever those brains are placed to come and teach those modules on our virtual platform. So when they are taught by professors from Harvard, Cambridge, Wales, UZ, name them, the best of the best, they teach different modules. Then all affiliate universities would now, students would learn from this platform. Then they would choose which university they want to get a degree from. We would want a situation where you would learn it from the virtual Global University of Excellence platform, learn from the best of the best professors. Then you decide to say, well, I want to write my exam at Cambridge or Harvard and get that degree from there. So the issue is, we are standardizing the quality of education across board, across the world. And then the issue of getting a degree becomes like a self decision to shop it from a university of your choice. And no one should look down upon anyone with a degree because you did not get it from Wits, you did not get it from Harvard, you did not get it from Cambridge or Oxford. This is the vision I have, that let's make it possible for quality education made available to everybody else. And that everyone has access to these finest brains that are employed by these top-rated universities. And this is what I see us getting to in the future. But we need to change our mindset in the first instance. The mindset that keeps us logged to this myopic and divisive kind of thinking that, oh, I need to belong to this class, I need to belong to this clan, I need to belong to this nation. It's really not necessary. We need to break these boundaries. And education is one tool we can use to break the boundaries.
All right. So, in
Yes.
terms of education in the continent of Africa, if we start there at midnight,
Yes.
assume it's midnight,
Yes. Yes.
and you were asked to identify just two people you look up to in terms of this virtual space.
Yes. Yes.
Who would they be?
In fact, to me, I would look up to any African leader who is Pan-Africanist in ideology and in perspective. Because you see, I actually believe that if I look at how revolutions have happened in different disciplines, in different sectors of the economy, there has been disruptive innovation happening everywhere across all disciplines, across all sectors of the economy, except education. You see, the way we are teaching students at university today is the way our grandfather were taught at university, where the teacher comes with the notes and you are regurgitating the notes in front of the children, and the students are taking notes, and you give them exams. And that is the same thing that was done during the time of Jesus. And this is the same thing we seem to be doing up to now at universities. So until we accept that, I think disruptive education, disruptive innovation has come into the educational sector, it limits our thinking and our possibilities of taking education at another level of excellence. Perhaps this COVID-19 has awakened most of universities to say, no, let's go the virtual way. So
No,
I have president.
I'm saying is that assume it's midnight.
Yes.
And
yes,
the question is raised just to identify 2 or 3 people
yes,
you
yes.
believe
Yes.
in this, just the names.
Yes, I'm getting to that. That's why I'm getting. Sorry, I started
Okay.
by trying
Yeah.
to give a foundation and then get to that point. There's
Okay.
this president of Rwanda, Kagame.
Okay. Number 1,
Yes,
President Kagame. Number
Kagame.
2,
Number 2, I'm not sure who I should put on number 2 there.
no, if you don't have a name, that's fine. We just want to provoke others.
Yes, I would want perhaps to think of business people. This Nigerian billionaire, the name has just run away from me.
Aliko Dangote? Or?
Yes, Dangote, yes. He's one man who started small and who has big ideas. I really admire him so much.
So in the field of education,
yes,
you say this virtual education, to say this is our Pope at midnight, and he stands out, or you are the Pope in the making.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Maybe before I go there, I want also to acknowledge you, personally. Whilst I was growing and I was at University of Zimbabwe, I really used to admire you so much. You were one of those people. I remember when you were in the mining sector, I used to say, hey, one day I want to be a businessman like Mtumwa Mawere. I really admired your courage of trying to change our perspectives. Sometimes you would learn and say, I want to learn and become a manager. But when I saw what you used to do then back home, I said one day I would want to be an entrepreneur like you. So you motivated me to get into business. Of course, it took me a journey going through the academics until I finally said, no, I want to leave academics and focus in business. So for now, I would want to say that I don't have someone I can say he's been in academics and he has seen it fit to move from academics and get into business.
We are saying the problem statement.
Yes.
Is that the market for education, the demand and supply of education is not in sync. There are far too many people who need it without knowing why they need it, and they get it and still have a problem using it.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
there are
Yes.
people on the supply side of education that the supply value chain requires brick and mortar, requires investments that are lumpy.
Yes.
And now we find ourselves in the digital age.
Indeed, you can
The
say
question
that.
is, we are at the crossroads.
Mm.
And I
Indeed.
don't know who to look up to,
Yes.
because I may be a dreamer,
Yeah.
like the people who invented Facebook, people who invented even internet. When they were talking about Internet of Things, there were very few ears that could hear.
Yes. You
So
can say
here
that.
you are, lonely as you are, with 3 developers, and thinking you can conquer the world with which is what, which is 4. Is it 4 people or 3 people?
Yeah, we are 3 of us.
You are 3. So 3 times 2 eyes. You got 6 eyes. You got 6
Yeah.
ears, 6 legs,
Yes.
and the world is bigger than you.
Yeah, you can say that.
And then there you are saying, I want to conquer the world. I want to be the British Empire.
Yes.
I want to be the Roman Catholic Church. And there are only 3 people.
Yeah. Yes, you have rightly said so, my brother. I can actually even point out to the challenges I've been having, because you see, I had these ideas of building a university of universities, and that would be premised on a real-time virtual platform. And now, initially, we outsourced a virtual platform from another company based in India. And later, we found it is not sustainable. Let's do it on our own. And there I was. I had no one to sponsor me. All I could do was to resign from my job as a professor, take my pension, and channel it towards developing this platform with the hope that one day we'll make it big as Africans. It was a risk unprecedented, as I can say. And even so, what we need to do, given the resources that we have, and my 2 programmers, it's still not good enough, but we are prepared to find the like-minded Africans to say, let's partner in this noble agenda. Let's do it together. Let's own it as an African product, because that is our thinking. It's not about Chinomona.
No, let's assume that there is nothing African about a problem, a human problem. Yeah?
Yes.
Because you are condemning yourself to be African when you are not. The problem you are trying to attack is to bridge this divide between the supply side and demand side.
Indeed. Yes,
and
you are right.
Whether you are African or not, without education, there are challenges in life.
Yes, right. You have said it so rightly. Okay, let me start with that point and come back to the issue why I want to bring in the issue of Pan-Africanist agenda. But let me start from the demand and supply side of it, as you have rightly pointed out. Indeed, without knowledge, in fact, even the Bible says a nation without knowledge will perish. It's really necessary that whether we like it or not, there is a need for us to educate our people. But unfortunately, we seem to have a limited capacity to develop brick and mortar universities that can actually meet the demands of higher education in the near future. I mean, statistics research has been done, and as I've rightly pointed out from the onset, is there to show that there is a deficit here in between. And beside this deficit of more people requiring higher education compared to our capacity to provide it, I am one of those critics who is not very comfortable with the current curriculum we use or teach at our universities. I seem to see that there are a lot of loopholes. We need to have a curriculum that address our unique problems and challenges. And I'm one of those who is busy actually designing, coming up with new curriculums that can try to bridge the gaps that I have seen in society. For example, I designed a master's and a PhD program in research practice and management, and also another one on sustainability and future studies or futurology, you can call it that. So these are programs that I designed with an intention to bridge a gap I saw in society, particularly the African society, that we seem to fail to provide a lot of solutions to what we have because of lack of research knowledge, research skills. So let's have a program that equip people with a practical research skills that when you finish the program, you can be employed by government, by the corporate, by the NGO, and be a top-notch researcher. But as it stands now, you do a degree in management, in whatever, research becomes a small component of that program, and you are expected to be a top-notch researcher. It can't be. Imagine a person
So
who is...
let's start with the foundation.
Yes.
Which is there is demand, there is supply, there are structural problems on the supply side.
Yes, and the demand
there
side.
Are infrastructural problem on the demand side.
Yes.
There are also a problem on the supply side, principally that if you look at the investment requirements required to bridge this gap, the funding is not there.
It's not available.
It's unlikely to be there. Now we have a digital platform.
Yes.
The question is, how best do we use this digital enabler to be able to bridge this? So assume you were one of the 1.3 billion people in Africa.
Yes.
And Africa was your theater of being able to evangelize this. Then you go back to the Bible and say, how did Jesus have an idea of building a multinational corporation without him there, without developers? And he left the people with no leader. Yet today you are the leader.
Yes, yes.
And then if you die, the leadership goes with you. So what occupied Jesus' mind daily before he ran away? Was it to develop an app, or was to live experiences?
That's an interesting analogy. Indeed, no one can, I wouldn't want even to quote myself or come close to the example, the analogy I've given of Jesus Christ. But that was an outstanding example of an idea that outlives the originator. And indeed, this is what we need to aspire to do. And as I have rightly said, is that, you see, I believe that each one of us is born and endowed with knowledge that cannot be replicated by anyone else. I believe that there is no one who has monopoly over knowledge and wisdom. And if we all come together with unique knowledge and wisdom, we create some synergies. And
no,
it is that
maybe they professor. You know what Joshua Ngomo said?
Yes, yes. You can come again.
If you have meat, do you have to invite flies?
That's a good one. Okay. But unfortunately, whether you like it or not, you find them coming to the meet and uninvited.
That's right. That's right. So
Yes.
why don't you just be the best meat?
Yes.
Instead of inviting thinking human beings who are cynical sometimes, skeptical, superstitious, and you invite them to something good.
Yes, yes.
Some
Indeed.
may never see it. So why not change your perspective about what you are doing? That's what I was trying to persuade you to say.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
come here and let's talk about it. I'm not talking about the algorithm. I'm not talking about your propriety, but the need for this conversation. That sometimes Jesus left conversations. He didn't leave an app.
Yes,
He didn't
yes,
leave a
yes, yes. I
about this leadership trait that we are missing. If we are missing it, then we need human presidents to tell us build the next school. We need flies to be invited to come and eat meat that you have bought yourself.
Indeed. Unfortunately, that becomes one of human nature and challenge we need to grapple and deal with in society. But be it as it may, it should not be a deterrent factor. That's what I believe. I actually believe that somehow, if we begin to educate one another, somehow, if we begin to share knowledge and not become possessive of it, we can create a critical mass.
Not if we.
Yes.
If I. That's
okay. Yes. Thanks for the correction. Yes. Thanks for the correction.
Don't wish other people to think like you.
Yes. Yes. Thanks for the correction. Yeah, but the idea is that somehow for us to make inroads and see the development we want to see during our lifetime, and
you are still using we, Professor.
Yes. All right.
No,
okay.
Just say I am here.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Fresh. Yes.
And what I'm talking about is a problem. And let's see whether other people see the problem the way you see it.
Yes, I see it. Yes, right. Let me get there. That's what I'm getting to. That using this virtual platform, mind you, I said that my idea in the first place was to break the barriers to access for access to quality education. Because education is very good to us all because it makes us all heavy. You see, a mindset change. And by so doing, it is only when we have a critical mass of like-minded people that we can actually come together and develop this Africa, develop our unique countries, develop our unique families, as it were. So
you see, Professor, on the screen.
Yes, I can see it.
What do you see?
I see building community power.
Yeah. And what is the difference between what you are saying and what this is saying?
Right. It's one and the same thing in different
on the left, what
different perspective. Yes. I see it's saying connections to communities. Yes.
Yeah. It's just saying that when two people are connected and they agree to constitute among themselves a community to solve a problem.
Yes, yes.
So I agree with you. Power to be able to address this problem of the divide.
Yes,
in the delivery of education. Let's say that is the first point. Then somebody say, we have a C2C initiative. Then he says, but tell me more about it. Then I say, but Jesus is dead. I can't tell you more about his life after death because I'm not there. All I can tell you is that there is an idea that after death, something happens and I'm not there. So faith is the biggest business. So it means all of us would not care whether the highway is owned by Professor Chinomona or the highway is owned by the devil or Satan. As long as I can use it, get to where I want to go, then the highway is good. How many people want to own highways?
Where maybe there I might beg to differ slightly.
That's fine.
I'm one person who believes that in life you need to have principles that guide you. Where you can say that, well, I cannot cross this, I cannot be this, I cannot do this. And as long as you are not guided by principles, you might find yourself going anywhere, going nowhere. There's one person who gave me this analogy to say, if you are not principled and it's difficult for you to have a vision, and if you have no vision, you have no direction. One example where a person who has no direction is likely to end up in trouble and serious crisis is the issue of, if you can see the biblical example of David. David was one of those kings that are celebrated. In fact, God even said he's a man after his heart. Of all the people in the Bible, it's only David where God says he's a man after his heart. You can see how he loved him. But one day, David just decided to walk aimlessly outside. And what did he come across? He came across this lady bathing on the rooftop. And what happened thereafter? He ended up, having lust over that woman, and what happened? You know what happened. So sometimes if you don't have principles and you don't have direction, you end up inviting troubles in your life. So I am that person who say that these are my principles that guide me in life. I will never do anything outside my principles because I have a direction, I have a vision, I have a mission to live for. So my mission is to say, in a small way, what can I do to come up with ideas that can touch lives, that can change lives, that can outlive my existence on earth? And I seem to realize that perhaps it was my calling that I go the academic route, and that I become one of those who acquire knowledge and disseminate it selflessly, so that we all create a critical mass of like-minded people who, when they come together, they can come up with something progressive, something that can transform society. And without education, without sharing that knowledge, I will tell you, it will be difficult to have a critical mass of like-minded people who can champion development in any country or in any continent. And this is where I come in with this virtual platform to say, let's create a platform that provides access to quality education, unlimited, to a person, irrespective of where you come from, whether poor background or rich background. Let's all provide the same quality education, so that at the end of the day, we all end up having people who are like-minded in thinking, who have the same understanding of how things ought to be and to be done and to develop our countries, and have sustainable solutions for the African continent. I repeat, African continent. Why? Because we seem to think that all solutions that matter to our African problem should come from outside Africa, which is wrong. I believe Africa has talent. I believe we need to create synergies of like-minded people who have the knowledge, share it selflessly, and build this Africa to be a continent that the future generation will be proud of us. I think that's what I can say on that.
Okay, thank you. That is always a contested issue, what you have just said, and it requires us to negotiate. And I'm reminded
it's a conversation.
One famous general who became a president, and he was trying to put some meaning to what being a president is and is not. And he wrote this letter,
Mm.
which I encourage you to read. He
Okay.
said, I walk on untrodden ground,
Mm.
and every decision I make and every action I take
Mm.
is a precedent.
Mm. Mm.
I
Indeed.
don't have principles of life because I don't understand it.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Life itself allows me to be open, flexible, because that's what it is. Because I don't know what tomorrow brings, what the
Mm.
next second brings, and who I must talk to.
Mm.
So I believe that there's order even in the anarchy of life.
That's good. That's something interesting. But you know, the challenge with that kind of philosophy is that it's disruptive in nature. You know, I was saying that there is no need to
No,
reinvent.
you're already becoming a professor.
Oh,
I'm just saying that allow
okay.
life to unfold, because if you didn't plan to speak to me today, just say so.
Yes, yes, indeed,
Don't
indeed.
say that I planned it.
Mm, mm,
I have
mm,
order. The
mm,
fact that we are speaking, it means something
mm.
has happened to make us speak on this day, because
Indeed.
one, I could not have made it.
Mm, mm.
Two, you could not have made it.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
if we look at life, look at a flower,
Mm,
how it blossoms without human hand.
mm, 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 mm,
Then see how small we are in the scheme of things.
mhm, mhm.
Then we know that we need each other.
Indeed.
And every
Exactly.
day I pray that may God allow me to reduce those I don't need and
Mm.
meet those I need.
I need in life. Indeed. You can say that
Because
again.
the problem itself requires
Mm,
different minds.
mm,
And I need to have a community around the problem,
mm,
not a community of physical people.
mm.
Then you
Indeed.
may discover that the one who has vuvuzela, who just goes to a soccer game just to
Mm,
make noise when you score,
mm, mm,
could be the reason why you are excellent.
mm. Indeed. Indeed.
But when
Indeed.
you have a virtual game,
Mm.
then you may discover that there is something missing in the game.
Indeed. Indeed.
So we
Yeah.
can't administratively put together a system that is principled, because the principles come from a problem.
Mm, mm, mm,
If I understand the problem, I define it well.
mm, mm.
Then I may discover that the best president is the one who is stupid, who is an idiot,
Mm.
because you allow other people to think.
Mm, mm. Yeah, but you know, sometimes if you don't have principles or frameworks that guides you, frame of mind that guides you in life, it might actually take you too long to make it in life.
But
So
that is,
this is
if you are,
why we need in life to have some building blocks that we learn from others. We learn from
no,
other
but
people's
that's why
experience, and then we
if you are,
build up our own experience on other people's experience.
if you,
And that
but
way,
if you
we
are,
can quickly get to another level of excellence than
that,
always
that is
rebuilding the
that is
wheel.
that is becoming a professor of life. So assume you don't know what you don't know.
Mm, mm, mm,
Then how do I build a framework around things I don't know, when I know it's very small?
mm, 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 mm. Yeah, this
So
is where I really think that the issue of knowledge acquisition is very important, because you can't know everything. And as I said,
that's right.
there's no one who has monopoly over wisdom. I can't know everything that makes wisdom, that make up wisdom. So for me to know more about what I don't know, what do? I have to learn from other people's experiences. And in fact,
But
what we are discussing here is actually what we call in a research gap, right? What is a
yeah,
research gap? A research gap is simply the difference between what is known and what is unknown, right? How do you know what is known? You just have to research. And what is research?
I'm saying
You now need to search what others have written and have understood about the same phenomena previously, so that when you understand what is known, that's when you can only know what is unknown. And when you know what is unknown, that's when you can find your space to say, I'm going to research on this and add on new knowledge on the existing body of knowledge.
You know what, Professor? Yeah, just to, I know I've taken time more than necessary from what we discussed.
Okay.
But a few weeks ago, I got somebody with, they have an education, they have a company. Let me just check here what it's called. It's called South Africa Business and Technology Institute.
Okay.
They got about 56 different courses.
Okay.
They offer.
Yes.
ICT, journalism, system development, public administration, leadership development, business management, chemical engineering. This is for the skills development side.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, I will set up a group called C2C.
Okay.
Skills development.
Okay.
And that was 2 weeks ago, to say, let's have conversation around this idea that you have. So that on the supply side, you may have people who are qualified to offer these courses virtually, but they don't know you exist. So the bridge is not there. But you believe you are what? You are the genius of what you believe you are. But if you humbled yourself, so this is the group.
Okay.
So it's called C2C chat.
Oh, that's great.
And this is so C2C chat. Then what do I call it? C2C skills development excellence.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And you see there in red, the people who are there and who have this platform, they say nothing. And immediately after, they are now on my WhatsApp group. And not knowing that they are actually disturbing me. And I remain now the skills development person.
Doing the PR for them.
Yeah, but in this small group, 6 members, it will not change.
Indeed.
It will not multiply because they believe that they are running a company. It's their company. So I said, if it's your company, why don't you open it up like a highway?
Yes.
So that we begin to talk about the problem of excellence, that there are people who go to school and get educated, but after they get educated, they are no better off. They can't even get to the workplace and function. How do we build this idea that you have?
Yes.
And you don't show up for it.
I really agree with you, my brother. Being a person who has been at different universities and who has graduated, I think I've graduated more than 20 PhD holders to date, and maybe more than 30 or 40 master's holders students. I have come to say that, to realize that our curriculum really lets us down. It fails to produce those products who are jobbable. 1. 2, more so, even if so they are to be jobbable, it fails to produce products that can students who can actually be ready to take up the risk of being entrepreneurs and start something of their own and create jobs. But the problem is with us who design the curriculum. And this is why I've highlighted that with the Global University of Excellence that we are launching, we are not going to offer these traditional qualifications that seem to let down our students. We are looking for the gaps that exist in our traditional university curriculum and offer craft unique qualifications not offered by any universities on earth, any university on earth, like the one I was telling you about. So these qualifications are meant to address unique African problems, unique world problems. If we say
no, but let me just say that conversation it's bigger and broader. Indeed. And we just wanted to get first to meet with you,
okay,
so that we negotiate and build these clusters of hope. That there are many people who are holding courses, who are holding curriculum, who have brilliant ideas in their own mind, but there is no vehicle to deliver those ideas.
And this glue becomes one of the vehicles that can use to deliver. In fact, as I said, this glue.
No, let's assume there's no glue, because the moment I become tribalist and I say I got the answer, then there's no answer. But if I take a different view, Professor,
yes, you are likely to get to a different answer.
But when I say come and either you work in my company or not, then it becomes destructive. Then tribalism comes in.
You are right. You are right.
But if we say we have a problem and how best can we fix it, then you may discover that it can be fixed when people put their minds to a problem, not to a vehicle.
You are right.
Whether it's a small car, big car, as long as I'm in the highway going where I want to go.
Yes, yes.
But who is going to build the highway when glue is the highway?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So this is where people like me comes in and say, I have a great idea. We want to build this highway that can take everyone to a new destination of excellence. And let's, brothers and sisters, let's come together. Help me in building this highway. I see.
Already you are already falling into the same trap. There is no help in life. If the problem requires us to build a new highway, we reconfigure it. But if, Professor, you're already saying that the highway is the highway is glue, then there is other people may decide we don't need that highway.
We need another alternative. I get you. Yes.
Hello. Let's hear from Australia. Just hold on. Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah. How are you? Yeah, no, I said just use that link.
Oh, which link? This one?
Yeah, the one I sent you.
Oh, okay.
All right. So that is the problem. So what I'm trying to persuade you, including the people with those courses, to say, I cannot take away the education, but the admin, let's try to find admin that is inclusive.
I agree
whether
with you.
Whether we use glue, we use this one, it doesn't matter as long as the cat can do something to the mice. Whether it's blue, black, and then let's build this problem to highlight it. That part of the problem is the highway and the side road.
Yeah, yeah.
We want to build our own highways.
Yeah, but
these guys have okay, all right.
I'm one person who believes in team spirit and teamwork. As I said, there's not one person has monopoly over wisdom. We all have wisdom. So when we come together, we actually create synergies. And when we create synergies, we are likely to create better value. And that is that better value which will make us better people in life. So
Yeah.
there are things that I can do best, and there are things that Mtuma Mawere can do best. So
No,
imagine
but what?
when we want to build a highway, we get the finest brains wherever they are placed, they come together and come up with something that is unique and the best of all. Surely,
Okay,
that's how
the
we
question,
can build a better society. That's
the
how we can
question,
actually find
no,
development happening among us.
no, the question is, you and I are individuals. Now we have
Yes.
Mr. Chasimba. Are you in Australia? Good afternoon or good evening?
Good evening. I'm in Australia right now. Yeah.
You're in Australia?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so no, I got Professor Chinomona is putting together a virtual university.
Yep. I
And
got. Yeah. I
yeah,
got
he's moving on that. And are you maybe just who are you? And he may also need to know you, because we are looking for flies to eat meat.
Yeah.
Not to protect the meat.
And not to protect the meat.
No, I'm actually interested in a, like, my background is in software quality testing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what it is it gave me a chance to think about what people don't think about.
Okay.
So when people design software, they design it so that it works. That's the normal way that people think. But if you do what I do, you have to look at how it can fail.
Okay.
So this has given me an opportunity to be able to analyze things and see what other people cannot see. I'll give you an example. Like it is commonly agreed that the education system in Zimbabwe is one of the best. Like it is one of the best things that when you look at what we achieved after independence, we look at education and we say, "Oh wow, we did well in education." But when you look by the lens that I have acquired, is you begin to see the flaws in that system. That it was built, like the whole school infrastructure in Zimbabwe is built for the top 10, like the top 10, not even, maybe the top 1% of the population, where schools are judged by how many A's. Like if a school gets 5 A's at O level or 15 points at A level, it's very good for those very few, that top percentile of people. But for the rest of the people, really, it's pathetic. Like we are the whole infrastructure is built to support
A
very
few
few people
talented
and not
people.
work for the rest of them.
You are right.
So are you still in software development?
I sort of am, but I've moved to try to use my skills to understand poverty, because my thinking now is we need to be able to use our skills to solve the problems that we have.
Problems.
And according to
No,
my
but right
observations,
now I'm talking to Mr. Chasimba. I just
Yeah.
want to know you, not the politics of poverty, because the poverty is another subject.
Yeah, but this is what I am now. I call myself a poverty engineer now.
Okay, so you're a poverty engineer in Australia.
Software engineer.
Yeah, no, so poverty, the poverty is
Where are you based now?
I'm in Brisbane, Australia.
Okay, so you are looking for poor people there, or you want
No,
to?
Poor people
So
are in Africa.
yeah, so you want to be a non-resident Messiah?
Yeah. So the thing is,
Okay.
when you look at poverty, Honor, when you look at poverty, like when I started looking at it, I realized things that I didn't know. Like, did you know that when the definition of poverty invokes the second definition? It talks to inferiority.
I wrote a song on poverty
Mm-hmm.
that was provoked by a report done by Oxfam on
Yes.
inequality.
Yes.
And I could not find the answer
Uh-huh.
because my song says poverty is not a disease.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a condition. It's not status.
Uh-huh.
And there is no human being who is poor. I can be challenged today. You leave me now, and then tomorrow I win. I win a scholarship.
Yes.
And put myself through education or win a PPE contract. Then I supply masks. And you still think in your mind that I'm poor where you left me. When I call you, you decide to switch off my phone, not knowing that I'm no longer where you left me.
The person you used to know.
Yep.
So life is so dynamic. Like you are here, the three of us. Instead of talking about what we can do tomorrow, we are talking about people we don't see.
Yep.
And here we are three of us. What brings us together is to talk about what we can do.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in this problem that Professor Chinomona is trying to address with his team, all he's saying is that there must be some change that takes place in the supply chain of education.
I agree with that. I actually started, when I realized this from about, I would say 20 years ago, I started a proposal. The problem with me is I start things and I don't get time to finish them. And a lot of it is.
But Mr. Chasimba, you are now in the storytelling. We are saying that everything that has happened in the past is not today, but tomorrow is shaped by what we do today. Yeah. So today we are talking about interest. Whether you are interested in being part of this connection, like the three of us, into a community, rather than us talk about poverty and we talk about it tomorrow again, and then the day after. But the people still remain poor after our conversations.
No, they shouldn't. Like if we do.
No, let's not worry about them. Let's worry about what we do to make life easier.
If I can come in, my brother Mawere, my good friend here has actually indicated that he has been a software engineer. Really, that on its own, it made my heart skip and say, now here we have found a person we're looking for to build a formidable team. And as I was telling you, my brother, we have a 7-phased stage of innovation and development. And these 7 phases cannot actually be done by two people. We really need people like you to come and join us and make this team a great team to achieve.
But Professor, you are already inviting flies to meet. Mr. Chasimba just came here as a tourist to say, what the hell are they talking about? Because he wanted to talk to me about poverty, and I was trying to avoid to talk to him about poverty. So
But he started well.
No, I'm saying is that, but that's what shows us that we can't plan for this. That he came in without invitation, and Professor Chinomona thought he was going to talk to me. And he didn't know that you are going to be there. Now that there are three of us, it means we are enlarging the circle of a problem to circle this problem. And you may discover by the end of the day, if we share this video, other people may come in and say, actually, I'm the best vuvuzela, the best comedian to tell the story of education in a sexy and interesting way. So we may leave them and think they are not engineers, but they are also engineers to deliver the promise of the kind of outcome that we want. So all I'm saying is it's a lesson in life that I've learned, that some of the people, if I were to create a group of 200 people, the people who will be on my list are the very useless for that problem. But they appear to be qualified, but they have no interest. And I can't cause them to have an interest. So the people who surround you may not be the best for the problem that you have a passion for. So that's all I wanted to share with you, that life doesn't give you an arithmetical or a linear outcome. That if I take Chasimba because he purposed to be a software engineer, then he's good for us. No. What we are saying, the problem itself will define if it's properly understood. I set up a group, Mr. Chasimba, called Towards Skills Excellence. Assume we are trying to address the deficit of skills. And you guys have been to complicated universities, acquiring degrees, but they don't solve the problem because you got a degree. So here we are to say, can we, there is somebody with courses that are accredited in South Africa. And what I was telling him, if you found a person like Mr. Chinomona, Professor Chinomona, just to agree to be on the faculty while he's still working on the glue option, he can spare the same time he has given up with us to share with millions of other people. And you, Mr. Chasimba, you can also do the same.
I agree.
Without us giving up much than for us to follow who is the president of Zimbabwe, who has been this, who has what, who has, we can do more.
You know what? That's exactly, if we had taken time to understand the three questions that I'm asking about poverty, then you would understand that that's exactly what I'm driving at. That it comes from an observations that I've done, that people are preoccupied with politics, and they cannot separate politics from economics. And as a result, they use politics as a diversion. They spend too much time.
But Chasimba, you are not people who you have not been given. Just talk about yourself and say, I don't want to spend my time on politics. We are joined by Rimbai, who is in the UK. So now we are represented. We have 2 South African addresses. We have 1 in Australia. And Rimbai, they can't see you because we had 3 men. They were accused us of gender violence.
So the reason why you would find me talking like in plural, like when I say we, is because I've realized that even in entrepreneurship, which Professor is talking about, teams build stuff. Like it's not one person. Like that's the wrong narrative that we've run away with.
Can I include you in this group of people who are connected right now, and we come into a community where we can subgroup ourselves into this problem of education that Professor has dedicated his life to solve?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
It's a definite yes.
Mr. Chasimba, I'm in Melbourne. Would love to connect with you. Thanks. It's Mukoma Masimba. So,
I'm in Brisbane. So.
He's in Brisbane. So imagine, because of Professor Chinomona, you are now meeting somebody in Australia. Isn't
Hey,
that
that's
wonderful?
the thing. That's the thing that look.
But
My attempt has been to call this a university of life, where you use what you have learned through life. Like networking is one thing that we have failed to use. Like, I'll give you an example that when I was at university, my roommate was a lawyer, but because I didn't understand the use of networking, I don't even have his phone number by now. But when I need a lawyer, I can't even find him.
And you're not alone, Mr. Chasimba. I introduced Mkoma Masimba to somebody in Australia who is a nurse, and he then acquired some trucks. Today he is now in trucking business in Australia, because he called me to invest in Zimbabwe. I said, why go that far? And you never left Zimbabwe. Why don't you go back to Zimbabwe? Because if you invest in Zimbabwe, people will steal your money. Even your relatives will chow the money and tell you that things are moving when there's nothing moving.
Yeah, but
so why don't you do whatever you want to do in Australia? And he then says, you are right.
We can.
No, I'm saying is there are people who go to Australia, but they spend their time in Zimbabwe every day on social media.
Yeah, you are right. Sometimes we spend a lot of time doing unproductive things that do not take us anywhere. And this is the problem, as Chasimba is saying. It's really a serious problem we face in our country. That I have even written several times on Facebook, trying to conscientize people that, please, what we need as a country is not about politics, the change of political leaders per se. You can change political leaders and yet don't have meaningful development. Malawi has done it. Zambia has done it. So the issue is about creating a critical mass of like-minded people who are progressive in nature, who can come and say, let's do something that can change and turn around this economy. Whether the president is bad or good, but at the end of the day, it's a critical mass of like-minded progressive minds that come together to make a change. And I can tell you, a lot of countries that have developed, that have dictators at the helm, but why have they developed? They have a mindset change of the ordinary citizens who are progressive in nature, who come together and say, irrespective of our unfortunate situation, let's come together and build this economy. You don't build the economy by over-focusing on politics. Unfortunately, that's what we have come to do. And we've become too polarized to unite and make anything meaningful that can turn around and transform our economy. I really agree with Mr. Chisamba on that one.
Okay, now we have the lady. I think we have Mr. Chasimba twice. Okay, he had two devices. And by what is your contribution? We have...
hello, everybody.
Yeah.
How are you, my sister?
I'm fine, thank you. My contribution, I was also a we have to do this person where I talk about, yes, I know that we as a team works, and that is a fact. But if we start about talking about a team that is not there, we are not going anywhere. If that is Dr. Richard, is that Dr. Richard? I've talked to you. How many times have I reached out to you?
Oh, okay. I now know you. Yes, I'm happy to meet you finally. We have been talking on Facebook.
Not only on Facebook, even in your WhatsApp email, I've been in your inbox as well.
WhatsApp, yes.
No, I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying anything to embarrass you, but I'm saying we've been in the sanctions group together, remove sanctions for Zimbabwe, 2018. That's 2018. And where are we today? And we haven't managed to do anything together. Despite that, you are proficient in what you do, and I do what I do. So we've been like minds, but working parallelly, doing nothing together. So how many people are walking this journey together, and not really together, but parallel to each other?
Yeah, yeah. No,
So that's where we are coming now with this C2C to say, you know what? People are doing things. I've been since I've met Mr. Mawere, started working with Mr. Mawere. I've met so many Zimbabweans, like, you know, as in Zimbabweans, who are doing marvelous things. But you know what? Every one of us is cooking a little pot of soup somewhere, and that's why we are not going anywhere. It's not that we are not educated. We don't have the funds. We don't have ideas, but we are all working individually. And we are all, you know, we spend so much time talking nonsense in Facebooks and all this social media, yet we can use those resources to do something useful. So this is an attempt to say, okay, all those who have brains, all those who want to see a better Zimbabwe, regardless of whoever is, you know, leading the guy. It's not only a Zimbabwean thing, it's an African thing, or even most countries, you know, there is this problem. What can we do? And the journey starts with me taking part to say, you know what, okay, I know now there is a platform called C2C. I'm joining in. It takes part with you coming in and say, you know what, I am a specialist in terms of policies and development, and I know what that Gono was saying nonsense, and we need to challenge that. Come on, guys, all those who think they want to be part of this initiative to say, you know what, we want Gono asked, we want questions asked, you know, like real direct questions, not this, you know, because we become a group of people with the same agenda who are working and working together to get something really effective done. So that's where you come in as an expert in your field, and there are people who are following you. How many people follow you, say?
I think almost 14,000, if I'm not.
What are you doing with the 14,000 people following you?
Yeah, it's only that somehow, because of my passion on this real-time virtual education, it has been taking a lot of time on me, and I decided to stay focused and say, this is maybe perhaps my calling in education, and this is where I could make the greatest impact in trying to acquire knowledge, generate knowledge, share that knowledge with as many people as possible, and create a critical mass of like-minded people who can think almost the same. And then together we can say, okay, how can we transform society? How can we change and provide sustainable solutions to the problems bedeviling our countries, bedeviling Africa? That's where I come from. So I feel that from an academic perspective, that's where I can contribute best in terms of generating knowledge that we can share, and together we can say, let's provide solutions, real solutions that matter to African problems.
No, that's really brilliant.
I think, Professor, maybe we need more sessions with you, because you are talking like a professor. But most of the problems have not been solved by professors.
Okay, indeed.
They have not waited for professors.
You are right.
They are not waiting for us. So poverty will remain. It was there before we were born. It will remain after we are born.
After we can change the situation. I decide to say no. I decide to say no. Enough of the poverty. But I need others to
let's not have slogans or invite dogs to bark. If we are doing something, let's just do it, so that the dogs have something to bark at.
Yeah, but I really,
if we don't find each other, let's say we want to do something and we believe in a common approach, then say, let's institutionalize. Even the Jesus never left a checkbook. He never left a balance sheet. But his word was more powerful after he was dead. So, so if we can do that, Professor, as a starting point, that let's associate, a company is an association, a political party is an association, soccer without associations, rugby, cricket. So if we can't associate to create one bigger thing, idea beyond the people who associate, then we are not moving.
You are right.
So I have to locate myself in a nation. Then I can do others. I can decide in the lottery of nations which nation I want to belong to. There are people, but it doesn't mean when I get there, I must be like everybody. I remain myself. If I'm an idiot in Zimbabwe, I will still be an idiot in Australia.
Yeah,
so
but
I don't need geography. So all we are saying is it possible to build something that represents a big idea than the individuals in it? Or
Surely
we want each one to have his
possible.
own country? And that is all the purpose of the conversation. The rest
Indeed.
you can...
Yeah, indeed, my brother, I really want to say that we can really make it, but we can make it together. United, we can make it together. And what is it that brings us together and become the glue that keeps us together? I want to believe that education is very important. Today we are speaking because of this education we got that made us realize that there is this technology we can use, and that gave us a communication language we can talk to each other and understand each other. So this is where I'm coming from, that Africa, Zimbabwe included, is where
Professor,
it is because of lack of people who can provide solutions. And who are these people who can provide solutions? These are people who are educated and experienced in any form wherever they are, who should come together and say, guys, with our unique experience, with the knowledge we have acquired from different platforms.
But Professor, you are now evangelical. I'm just saying is that I could marry down with to a person who has no degree. It doesn't make them less human than they are.
Yes.
That values are taught outside the four corners of a classroom and in classroom. So all we are asking is let's put no qualification of a human being who wants to associate. And they may play they may not be educated.
I think
I'm saying they may not be educated. They may not be educated. Let's be inclusive. So what we are saying is, I targeted you. You didn't target me.
Indeed.
So I am the one who bridged to you. But you're going to create. I can see what you are saying. You send me the app, and I looked at it, and I say, this is. I've seen a lot of these things where people are so smart, gifted, that between their ears they got the solution for the world. But the world is bigger than my 2 ears. And I said, Lord, I understand where you want to go. I may be wrong, but let me try to bring 2 more people who are here by default, because they don't know what we were going to discuss. And also, you didn't know what we were going to discuss. So, and that's all we can celebrate today, that accidents do take place.
Indeed.
Now that we are here, let's not talk about the highways we are building to divide ourselves. Let's talk about associating ourselves so that we remain ourselves, not that we become one. No. We may still be in one country doing different things. We may still be in one family doing different things. One is a lawyer, one is a doctor, one is a nobody. But we still share the same surname. So we don't want to be able to create a highway of people who think like us, or that we must melt in one pot so that we lose our individuality.
Yeah,
so
but my brother, sorry for interrupting, and I would want to beg to differ on that. You know, one thing I've always propagated, even in my writings, has been that it will be difficult. For example, let's take Zimbabwe. It will be difficult to develop that country if we don't have a critical mass of progressive and like-minded people. Surely, if we remain in our isolated corner of oneness, we cannot rebuild that country. Somehow, we should find one another. We should
I'm saying something
to be saying at the end of the day, we have a group of people who have a common understanding and oneness.
No, but the professor,
yes,
don't force people to be in the same bedroom because it's good to reproduce life.
But these are, I mean, these.
I'm just saying, is a professor.
Whether we like it or not.
No,
one person can never build a country.
Allow your children to find themselves.
Okay.
Even to be foolish, even to be idiots, because they'll find themselves without you. So we are too small. I am too small for me to say Zimbabweans must behave in this way. But what I do know is that the people who follow me, they'll follow whatever I say. I can give you examples. I gave you some of the threads. Someone calls me. I don't have the time to answer individual, but I'm only answering to respect them so that I can share it with others. To say we got a problem. Because some people think other people have got 24 hours plus more time for them. When we are all living life in the same linear path. So when I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to you alone, Professor.
Yes.
I'm talking to other people who are looking for hope, where there is no hope. Go ahead.
Something.
Yes, go ahead. We are listening.
The Professor, we should have a common goal, but we don't have to have the same mind. Actually, we just need to realize that what we're working for the same thing. Then we use our different skills, our different perceptions to combine to make one thing. But we don't have to think the same. We can complement what we think, the way that we see something. Then
you are so right.
Is that
Mr.
when you're looking at an elephant, you see things differently. But if you combine those things,
Professor, do you know a company called De Beers?
Yes.
Do you know the history?
I can't claim to know the complete history about it.
You know who started it?
Not. I don't want to give a wrong guess here. You can correct me there.
Oh, it was Cecil John Rhodes.
Yeah. So yeah.
And you know what model he was using to start De Beers? Is the Roman Catholic Church and the Society of the Jesuits. And he created his own society of the elites. And it was not his, it was among the elites. So he says, if you look at the Catholic Church, the structure and order, there's one pope. There are cardinals who are the cabinet. There are archbishops, there are bishops, and there are priests. And they all belong to the same pyramid. So in respect of De Beers, he became the pope, called the chairman of the board. Then the directors became the cardinals. Then they appointed CEO for the operation for Kimberley. And he says this order is more important than who is qualified. Without that order, you can't do anything in the name of the Catholic faith. But the chairman doesn't need to know everything. The CEO doesn't need to know everything. So we cannot come together and think alike. It's not necessary. But the order and structure is more important. He set up, Rhodesia. I never lived in Rhodesia. You know that.
Come again?
Cecil John Rhodes never lived in Rhodesia.
But only his grave is in Rhodesia.
That's right. But he never received mail in Rhodesia. But the country was named after him. What do you learn from that?
Yeah. Also coming back to my brother here, when I said the mindset, if you see, a set is a group of things that comes that we can describe as one. And I still believe that if we don't have a mindset that is common and amongst us, it is difficult to pull in the same direction. We might make progress, but the progress will be retarded because you find people pulling different direction and squabbles.
No, that's a cooperation.
So when we have a kind of thinking that is common amongst us, it is easier for us to find one another. Number two, it is easier for us to make progress and make it timelessly. So whether we might be different in different persuasions and thinking and the like, but having a common mindset is very important for any development to take place.
No, but Professor, let's negotiate that one. Because to build a family, it doesn't mean you must think alike, but you negotiate by what you are doing. I can tell you something.
Why do you negotiate? You negotiate
because we are human beings, but I can't reach everybody, Professor.
Yeah, but why do we negotiate? The reason is you need to be in the same boat. You need to be.
I'm saying we can be in the same country, but we don't have to think alike. We can be in the same car. We don't have to think alike. But we are going to the same destination. All I'm saying is, Prof, let's try to understand that critical point that you are raising. It is very critical because that's where we can miss each other. Because sometimes we are not communicating. We are learning. I have learned from the people like Rhodes, not because I like him, J.P. Morgan. I've learned from different people. So that I try to understand what is it that made them who we remember them for. And what can I learn about building institutions? What can I learn about building a community? That's why we said community power, not company power. What you're talking about, we can deal with a classroom, we have order, we have an instructor. But life is no instructor. People still need to make their choices. So all we wanted is it possible for us to agree so that we don't take too much of your time again, but to agree that we need to be in the same boat, but as individuals who are doing their own things in it. And those, if the pond is bigger, I have more fish to catch than if the pond is small. So I may be able to benefit from Chasimba's contacts, knowledge, and I expand without me going to Australia. From this very platform, we can move forward. But the moment I say, come to my highway, then everybody will feel afraid that I'm working for your highway, but we'll share the same country. Let's make it work. But we don't make it work by us agreeing. We make it work by us disagreeing and being the best in our own craft. Because for me to advance myself, I need others. I don't need everybody.
Exactly.
So we are one, Professor, and even to describe what we've discussed here, it's a very complicated thesis. There are people who are listening who are confused. What are we trying to do? Because they want
to come on to what you have just said. You see, there is something in politics, they say collective responsibility. Why do people have collective responsibility? Because they realize that different in opinions as we may, if we continue to move in our separate avenues of thoughts, then we cannot make progress. There will be a time where we say, yes, I disagree you, but for the sake of progress, I need to find one another with you as a group and agree with you as a group and move together as a group. That's the mindset I've been talking about. So
but
there's nothing wrong with disagreeing, because disagreement becomes some checks and balances.
I'm saying we are not agreeing.
Right.
We are not agreeing on that. That's why we say we need more conversation, because I'm saying I don't need to cause a dog to keep quiet when it wants to bark. My job is to continue. If I'm in a train, continue going with my journey. But I'm not going to stop to say the dog must agree that I must not go. The dog may be saying, you are leaving me alone, so don't go. Then I'm not going to stop going where I want to go. So all I'm saying is I don't need to agree with anybody, but I need to belong to a family of dogs and Gentiles and the monkeys.
Yeah, it's a topic that is difficult to conclude, if I may say.
We are not here to conclude it. I mean, all we are saying is your personal view to say what Mimbai was asking. Do you want to be part of this community where we can talk about this? We have a subgroup where we can talk about how how do we benefit from the synergy of others without making those people collapse into me.
No, I agree with you.
How do we make the highway broader so that those who drive fast can get there quicker than me without me stopping them to say, let's be in one car?
No, I agree with you. We need to learn from one another. As I said, no one has monopoly over wisdom. You have knowledge that I don't have. Mr. Chasimba has knowledge that I don't have. So when we come together on a platform like this, we begin to learn from one another. We also become better off in terms of understanding of the world, understanding of how things work. And this is why we need to constantly make conversations. And your platform is one of those platforms that provides people an opportunity to converse with one another, get to know, besides networking. And this is the same thing also that our platform wants to do. Okay. You can't hear me.
You can't hear.
Hello? Can you hear me, colleagues? Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, I think Mr. Chisamba is not hearing me. Okay. So I was saying that if I have to come back to where we started, that as you see now, we are using StreamYard. And our mission is to provide an alternative to StreamYard. To say, this platform of ours, Glue, can work perfectly well as a StreamYard. Why should we continue to use this Zoom, StreamYard, Google Talk, Microsoft Team, when we have a product that works equally the same, produced by Africans, and meant to benefit Africans first and foremost? And for us to succeed to be better than these platforms you use, we need guys.
If you were the president of the country, and then you had Glue, are you going to force me to use Glue?
No, I can't. But you see, this is where I was talking about.
So let's just use
where
no, we don't eat Pan-African.
If we support one another, we can grow this Africa beyond measure. But if we continue to support those that are outside, how do you expect the Africans to grow? They can't. So this is where we support one another, find one another, support one another, and make this Africa a proud continent.
I think you are provoking Professor. Okay, let's have Mimbai.
Hear from Mimbai.
And Chasimba.
Okay. Okay, Professor. what we would say is, you know what, that is really good what you're talking about. But as long as it's not like there in the public for people to know it, we will not know that there is that beautiful product. So in this city that we are building, or in this continent, a virtual community continent that we are building, we want all those things in there. Then we can say, you know what, or take an example of a shopping mall. I take it as a shopping mall, a complex, actually, where we say, you know what, there is entrance fee for all those who want to come in. But when you walk in on that door, we've got like there who I have like a small shop for those who want to drink coffee or whatever. The next one, they're selling shoes. The next ones are, they just want to walk around. They're doing window shopping. They're not buying anything. And then the next one, we've got those, the technicals who are doing the technical thing. And then we've got those who are doing banking, like they have the structural banks. Because I just got to know recent, like actually last week, that there is a banking system that has been, like, you know, there's one who said, we want to start a community that will support the African community worldwide, right? Get those monies and these from that high going all the way down. And then there's somebody who had the brains to work on a system that will be like, you know, like a watertight banking system. The two of them work together from different countries. That system is working. And you know what? It's working worldwide. So at the end of the day, we would say in this complex that we are this continent that we are building, we need to buy things, we need to pay things. So before I can use the Visa card, if I know that there is this one on the side, the world, it's called World Economic Congress, WEC. It's there in this complex, right? So there is the Visa for those who want to use the Visa. There is the the debit card who wants to use the debit cards. It's there. There is PayPal for those who want to use PayPal. There is also WEC for those who want to use WEC. It is a banking system like the EcoCash that we have, right? But we have it now in this complex. So those who want to go and do their banking will go into this bank. There is another one who wants to build a proper building, a bank. So can these two not work together and provide a banking system for this group? So we now have the financial experts in this virtual world of ours. Then we have the professor who does the education. What will stop you to say, you know what, we are the education sector, those who want to know what is Africa, why did we land where we are today? You are there, and you have your team of all those who want to follow what the professor says. Maybe I just want to sell my designs, my things. I don't want to really listen to what you are doing, but I can also maybe here and there pop into what you are saying. So like we have this one giant, one shop for all, but people will have different sectors and they will meet each other. But you know what, because we are already in one closed community, I would trust you more than what I would do if I met you on the street. On the street, maybe I won't talk to you because I don't know you, but because you are in this network that we are in together, I might think, let me listen to what you are saying. It might make sense. You know, so that way,
one way or the other,
so you bring up that network you're talking about, because I'm one person who has been really angry. You know, I've been blocked from Facebook a couple of times because some people did whatever they did and I got blocked out. I lost so much work, like really so much work. And I'm thinking, how many of us have lost work they've worked so hard to build? And if today Facebook just go, whoop, all Zimbabweans out, that means all of us have got nothing, right?
Nothing.
But if we have, like you're saying, you now know that there is this product that is African product that we can also use. But if it's there where I can say I trust the source, I'll think about using it. But I have to know that it exists. So bring it into this continent. Then I'll look at it.
Actually, my sister, you are right. This Glue virtual platform is actually one of the products that is being championed by World Economic Congress. I'm part of that group. I'm a member to that group, and also the wallet payment gateway. We are actually integrating it on the Glue virtual platform, so that we can actually cater for the unbankable people who don't have credit cards and Visa cards, they can still pay for our services. They can still pay for any other services using that payment gateway. So you are right. You know, the Chinese always make it. Why? One thing I've learned when I stayed with the Chinese is that they have what they call Gongqi. Gongqi is a kind of a network where the Chinese, wherever they go, they will not do business with anyone else. Before they do business elsewhere, they find someone in their network who knows someone living where they want to go. So when they come to Zimbabwe, the Chinese, they've already found somebody within their network who knows someone in Zimbabwe. And when they go there, they just go to that very person. They will trust that person because the person has been referred by someone they trust within their networks. So this is why I think it's very important to belong to networks like this. And I thank my brother Mutuma Mawere for trying to create a networking us, bringing us together and finding one another, knowing one another. It's very important that at the end of the day, we become one family through this virtual platform. And by so doing, by interacting and knowing, engaging with one another, we build trust in one another so that tomorrow, who knows, I might end up doing business with Wimbai. Why? Because I met him on the platform that my brother Mawere initiated. I might actually even ask, I want to do other business. I would say like the Chasimba was saying he's a software engineer. In the platform we are developing, we are a small team. We want to expand beyond what we are now because we have a bigger vision than what meets three eyes, three people. So you never know. Through him, and some people might contact Mr. Mawere and say, hey, Mr. Mawere, I listened to your conversation on such a date with so-and-so, with Prof. Chinomona. I want to belong to that team. He was talking about developers. How can I get hold of it? And through this platform that my brother Mawere has created, we begin to network. We begin to be a bigger network of people who can come together and make things happen. And indeed, it's very important to network.
Yeah, you know, that's it.
Thank you very much. I think you have summed it. You guys met 2 years ago, and still
we didn't know each other virtually. It's our first time to see each other.
Online, we used to talk. We used to talk online.
I'm just saying, isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
That 2 years later, you are still talking.
Yeah. And you bring us together to see each other finally.
That's right. So
accidental.
Let's work on these accidents to show that whatever we do in life, we can plan for it. It won't happen.
Yeah.
But we can reconnect, and when we reconnect, let's move on. Even on the World Economic Congress, what we're talking to your other colleagues to say, guys, you are not in a hurry to show what you have. Like I was trying to persuade Wimbai to say, let's have a show just to show the power that the platform has, even the power that glue has. I looked at it, went into it. It works. But unless we show, it will be like Nokia and Samsung.
Yeah.
There was a time when Nokia was the leader. There was a time when Motorola was the leader. And today, if I say Motorola, in many countries, they won't recognize what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There was a time we visited China and Huawei were talking about these mobile devices. They say you never make it. The market is already taken. And today, the time we say ZTE, you can't make it. You can't do it. Ericsson is the way to go. But today, the world has changed because people chose to look at things differently. So all we are saying is anything that you have, any knowledge that you have, any problem that occupies your mind, it's a good problem. Democratize it so that those who see this problem, you are inclusive. You become
Yeah.
an omnibus.
Mm.
You take all of them to say, guys, the problem is not mine.
Mm.
But for it to be solved, it requires each one of us to play our parts.
Mm. Indeed.
What we don't want is one person to end up becoming the spokesman of other people's aspirations.
Mm.
Then we collapse into one dictator.
One dictator.
Then,
I agree with you.
then people will then wait for the dictator to think when he's not thinking, like Chairman Mao. There's time he spent time with prostitutes or concubines, and people thought he was busy on matters of state, but he wasn't. So why do we need to go that far to wait for one person to decide?
Yeah.
So we are all in it, and what I was going to ask Professor Chinomona to say, let's bring those people you are working with to become part of this C2C.
Okay.
So
all
that
right.
we can accelerate even this guy with the courses to say we have Professor Chinomona, PhD, MBA, whatever you call yourself. And we may be able to give other people a chance to learn from you how to build institutions and how to believe in something when other people don't. And people think you are banking on a lost cause. But you know in your side that I have it. But imagine you arrive and you discover that there's a new technology when you arrive. You discover that Africans are not Africans anymore. They want Samsung. And you produce your device and they say, my friend, I like this one better than yours. Are you going to force them? Are you going to be angry if I don't come to your church? And you have built a church good for you. But I'm still a Catholic. It's boring service, but I want to go there. What are you going to do? Are you going to allow me or to say you are unpatriotic? You are not Pan-African. Why do you have to go to churches of imperialists? Let's be accommodative. Let's be tolerant. Let the best be like a beauty pageant. And let people choose. I may be the most ugly woman and I get the prize. So what? Yeah.
You know, I like your critical thinking. You know, it's so provocative. It makes one think on the contrary. But be that the case, I want really maybe to round up on from my side to say that indeed we are small as we are. We know we can grow big if we get other fellow Africans coming on board and help us build this platform to be the best of the best. So at the moment, we are in the process of integrating the broadcasting function, which works like this StreamYard. We are also in the process of integrating direct call to call, which works like WhatsApp. So all we want to do is to look for the best of the best features you find in different platforms and bring them on one platform so that we provide value and quality service for our clients. So that we don't end up.
Would you want Professor? Would you want to own that church?
To own what?
That church that brings everything together.
I believe that we should own it together. You see,
I'm saying there is a problem about people who say they want land. They don't understand land is an object. When you own it, you can't die. But if it's common usage, that let's build a platform that we had a problem with the World Economic Congress. We gave them a vehicle to start transacting. You know what they were telling us? It's your vehicle. We are here. We want visibility. I said, if we are together, you marry a prostitute, Professor, what does it become? It becomes your wife, is it? Can you call her a prostitute after that?
No, no. But anyway, I get you well.
How many
I get you
people
well.
lose transactions by this idea that them and us? Doesn't
No, I
matter where
get.
you're coming from. If
Yeah,
we know that this technology is the best, we start using StreamYard, we use Zoom until we create the new highway. But all of us are talking about the need for us to have our own brand identity.
Indeed.
So in this
But
case,
the moment I start talking against somebody,
yeah.
you know, when I started a bank, I didn't talk bad about Standard Bank, no. But I said I want to see Mr. Standard. If there's no Mr. Standard, then why should Mawere be the standard? Why should you not just go and borrow money and pay it, deposit money, without asking who's the owner?
No, but yeah, I get you well. I hear you well. Yeah, but at the end of it, if I might say, is to say we are really going to grow big in the shortest possible of time. And I want to assure your viewers that they will never be disappointed by us. Glue has come to stay, and Glue is going to grow beyond measure. And I can assure you that we want to outmaneuver and compete with our competitors to the point that people will be shocked that, is this coming from Africa? Can we get this something better than this coming from Africa?
Let's say, inshallah, God willing. But for now, let's not threaten anyone about what is to come.
This is just
I'm saying
I'm just saying, Professor, we are getting there.
Tomorrow you may find me dead. You may find me dead with good ideas. I don't know where to bury good ideas. But all I'm saying is, Prof, a life is not about threatening anybody that I'm going to do this, I'm going to be the best, I'm going to be this. No. God may not be willing to grant you that wish.
By God's
if
grace,
it's already functional, the system that you're talking about, why not bring it to C2C, and then we can try it out, and then we'll see if it works. As an example, at least we'll walk in this highway.
Thank you for asking. It's already working. But we are going to formally launch it on the 3rd of August. So for now, we are just creating awareness to our clients, potential clients. But from the 3rd of August, we are going to formally launch it. And by then, we are hoping that all these other facilities that people seem to want from other platforms could have been integrated. But before end of August, I can assure you that we'll be competing well with any other virtual platform that is in existence so far. So all we need, all that we are calling for is to say, colleagues, dear brothers and sisters in the diaspora and still in Africa, let's come together and help us with your ideas, not only financially, but even with ideas. You see some features that you like elsewhere. You say, hey, I like your platform, but I seem not to get this feature I want most in other platforms. Please bring those ideas. We want them. So we want to grow with you and make this platform.
You know why we are saying even C2C?
Yes.
It's converting links. There are people who are in LinkedIn who never leave LinkedIn. And when I set up a bank, there are people who are banking with Barclays Bank who never wanted to move. And the biggest problem were the educated people.
Yeah, they call it low.
They are more conservative. They don't trust anybody. So even if I have all the functionality, they'll still be doubting Thomas's.
I know. But still, you see, sometimes this is where education works. Sometimes we have to create awareness. We need it to promote.
I'm talking about the educated, seemingly educated by the illiterate people.
Yeah,
so
they are there. I agree.
So education, it can be corrosive, it can be suicidal. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying is let's not let's focus on building communities. And when we
Indeed.
build communities, it means we can find people within our communities who may
Communities.
be persuaded to use something
Yes.
that they've
Yes.
never
I agree
used it
with you.
before.
No,
And
thank you, my brother.
let's
Yeah.
let's broaden ourselves, because a business is just a problem solver. It's just a vehicle to solve problems.
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
are there problems of community building? Yes.
No,
Even
thank you, my brother.
Chasimba, he said, no, I want to be part of this. He just sent a message on WhatsApp. And I can't stop him to send a message on WhatsApp. He could have left the message in the same group, but he chose to go to WhatsApp.
To WhatsApp. Yeah,
Not to
indeed.
glue.
It's sorry to intervene. I have a meeting that was supposed to start at
Okay,
at 2:00. Yes,
all
but
right.
I really want to thank you, my brother Mawere, for bringing me on board on your platform, and I want to belong to this C2C. I'm glad to partake in it in any way possible and share the best of my ability, knowledge, and ideas, experience with other colleagues on the platform. Let's find one another. Let's learn from one another. And as I said, no one has monopoly over wisdom. And as we come together as a network, we really learn from one another, benefit from one another, and together we grow and make, our society a better place to live. So thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much. And let's keep on talking. We already found each other on the same platform.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Let's keep going. And
yes, next time you want to have me on your platform, please feel free to contact me.
I thought you were going to change the
platform.
language.
Yes, thanks for correcting me. On our platform, please feel free to contact me.
Our glue, we are glued together, and now you want to unglue us. So, Professor, don't invest in ungluing. Okay, thanks.
Thank you for correcting me. All right, God bless you. God, my sister, thanks. I found you
so much.
Finally.
We have met finally. You won't get lost me. I'll be here with you.
We have to thank my brother Mawere for bringing us together. Finally,
thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you later. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
How do I get out of